Little. Most of you know me from live on Instagram every Friday at 9 a.m. And some of you actually follow me on YouTube. You know, I've been doing this business now since 1997. And I happened to, by mistake, run into I'm going to say it like this, one of the coolest people that I think I'm going to get to know, and a top producing real estate agent here in Illinois, Brandon Blankenship. And just let me just say this, because I'm going to tell all of you, I'm the person that goes and looks up your numbers. And I know all of you go to Home Snap and you look up my numbers. And when you look up my numbers, you're like, Carrie doesn't sell. But most of you know I opened a company in 2017, and my goal was to actually just manage. Many of you know I worked for Baird and Warner for 16 years, and that was their model, and it just made sense to me. So, Brandon, what I'd like for you to do is I would like tell people who you are, how long you've been in business, because, you know, I made the title, Rookie Agent Closes 10.6 million in less than 1.5 years. And it might have been closer to 10.7, but I rounded down just because the number was a little longer. So tell everyone who you are.
Right. Thanks for having me, Carrie. My name is Brand Blankenship. I am a real estate broker in the Chicago burbs, specifically like the Naperville area. Raised my whole life in the Glen, Ellyn area. Went to school here. You know, I'm Briar Glen, Glencrest, Glenmore South. Went to community college at the College of DuPage, and I graduated with my Bachelor of Science from NIU, aka not Indiana University. And then, moved to California for a few years, right out of college, had no girlfriend, wife, or kids. So I was like, why not? And then, I ended up at a marketing company, right when I moved out there in downtown Pasadena, and I quit in like 2 days because I was like, I'm 22, I can't do this right now. Right. So, picked up a few part-time gigs here and there, tried to start a few businesses, jumped into real estate over there for like 2, 3 months. And then COVID hit, saw some friends start buying houses from high school on Facebook. And I was like, all right, I need to be that guy. So, just stopped doing real estate in Cali like 2 months. And then rest is history, came back and started selling real estate here in Illinois last January. And then, now I'm here.
So let me back up. Did you actually sell real estate in California?
For like 2 months. Yeah.
So you did get your license in California. What was that like?
It was interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's the same process. When I was getting my license here in Illinois, it didn't transfer right over, so I had to like redo everything. I actually failed the Illinois State real estate test the first time, so I didn't even get my license the first time around. So, it was tough. But yeah, I mean, COVID hit California extremely hard. I missed my family, my friends, and stuff like that. And like I said, I just saw an incredible opportunity. I learned real quick that I've always just been an entrepreneur. I've always been working since I was 16. Through high school, I was like flipping Jordans off Facebook and stuff like that, and just reselling stuff, and always just trying to start like little businesses here and there. And then I just knew real estate was an opportunity, an avenue for me, where the harder I work, I could actually get compensated for that work. So I was always just thought that was super cool, and just never capped me.
So, I mean, I probably could talk to you for hours. You said what a lot of this next generation is doing. Your generation, you're natural entrepreneurs.
Hmm.
You and I truly believe that building wealth for the next generation is going to be a little bit different for us because, you know, I was born in the 70s, graduated from high school in 1989.
Hmm.
My idea of a smartphone was we had a long cord that could go from the kitchen to the bedroom.
Hmm.
So, and like this is an appendage for you.
Yep.
Right. So you said you worked for a marketing company right out of college for
Right.
2 days. You were like, nope, I'm 22. I'm not doing this.
Right.
And I probably need to share this with one of our kids because she's in college and she's like, Carrie, mom, Carrie, stepmom,
Right.
she's like, just trust me, just invest in me because I don't want to go to real work.
Hmm.
But so let me talk to you about that. So you came back to Illinois, you didn't
Hmm.
pass the real estate exam the first time, but you stuck with it and you passed.
Hmm.
And so now you're licensed
Hmm.
and you're like, this has to work.
Hmm.
Tell us what are some of the first things you did as a new licensee? Because this for you, because I went and looked it up, it was January 2021.
Yep.
Pandemic was, we were about 7 months in, 8
Right.
months.
Yeah,
So
so
what was
pretty
that
much
like?
what I did, yeah, so when I first started, yeah, I mean, it was interesting for sure, right? Just kinda, like, learning everything new again, just kinda, like, being in there for, like, 2 months in California, and I kinda just, like, knew how I wanted to, like, run my business back home in Illinois. Um, it was interesting, right? I mean, I'm still live with my parents and stuff like that, looking for my own home and whatnot right now, and I'm grateful for them for, always supporting my what I'm doing because like, in this business, it's all commission based, so it's either I make it or I kinda don't, and I don't have money, I have to ask my parents. But, for me, kinda how my business ended up last year in 2021 is that I did 3 transactions from January to June, right? Everything that I was doing in, like, the first quarter of last year in 2021 was just me, like, reconnecting with, my high school friends and stuff like that because I saw the opportunity of them, getting their second job, like, their bigger jobs, like, right out of college, they're getting to their next role, making a little more money, they're getting engaged, they're getting married, having kids. So it was kind of that perfect opportunity. A lot of them were sheltered at home and, their lifestyle changes were a little less, right? So just going to a lot of coffees, networking, lunches, and stuff like that, and really coming from, a place of, just care, just with everything in the pandemic going on. So, I was just building relationships like that, doing a lot of social media videos and all that. And yeah, kind of how my business ended up last year in 2021 was I did 3 transactions from January to June, and I did 17 from June to December. And then this year from January to June now, I've done 15 transactions around $5 million in volume. And last year I did like six and a half. So it's been crazy. And yeah, I mean, that's kinda just what I did in the beginning. I'm a really big student of the game. I look up to the people that have done everything that I wanna do. I have no ego at all. I share everything I do. I'm a big believer of, business is really unlimited, and, if I wanna be at the top, I don't wanna be there alone. I wanna keep having people push me, and I wanna push others to, get even better every single day.
So let me say what you said that I need everyone to hear. For those of you that didn't hear this, we got next generation entrepreneur, um, half my age, said he reconnected with his high school friends.
Mhm,
And then you've got your high school friends that have gone to college. Maybe they're getting married, maybe they're having kids, having coffee, maybe lunch or dinner. So just the reconnection. So, the cool thing is I met Brandon because of Jill Daniels. Jill Daniels is an attorney in our marketplace, and Mark had a client that decided to go on vacation before closing. And we were like, we need to get the cashier's check. There were so many things we had to do before he left. And Jill was like, just come meet me in Wheaton. I'm like, fine. And I'm casual, Carrie. Like the day I worked from home, I come in and I didn't know what I was walking into. Had I known, I probably would have said, hey, Jill, meet me outside. But I go in and Jill's like, hey. And then she's like, meet Brandon. And then Brandon, what you didn't know is she called me afterwards. She's like, Carrie, let me tell you about Brandon. So it was really Jill. Jill is a true connector, and she's a firm believer of share, 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 give, give, give. Just kind of like what you said. You
Mhm,
you threw in social media, you threw in YouTube, but here's what I know is before we even talk about social media, building relationships matter. I just came back from a real estate conference, and most people, we want to know, how do you generate leads on social media? We want to know, how
mhm,
can you generate leads with YouTube?
mhm,
But it's bigger than social media. It is building relationships, making the
mhm,
connections, and just coming from a place of being available, being giving. And the one thing you said is you're okay with sharing because you don't want to be at the top by yourself.
mhm.
And I'm convinced you'll probably be more than a millionaire by the time you're 30. I'm
I
convinced. Right. So let's talk about some of the things that you're doing,
Mhm,
because to do over 10.6 million in a year and a half, most real estate agents don't close their first deal for the first 6 months. You did
mhm,
3.
mhm,
I did 3 in my first 3 months. One of them
mhm,
never was not on the market because it was a
mhm,
for sale by owner. And I don't know if you know this, in our MLS, if you closed a property where the property wasn't listed, our MLS, you can actually track it, called
mhm,
other comps. So we can upload
mhm.
that now.
Mhm.
So talk about some of the things you do in addition to building relationships, because that's kind of like what I walked into when
Right.
I saw you with Jill.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, just besides building relationships, it's just kinda like all social media, right? I have a lot of agents that have been vets in the game, kinda just tell me that I need to go cold call, I need to door knock and stuff like that, but I've always just understand it for me is that, like, the way I run my business is I have to have fun in just anything I do. It needs I need to make an impact somewhere, right? I think social media for me and just like, through my different avenues, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, it's really just being that connector, offering value. There's a Chicago agent from Keller Williams named Tommy Choi, and he sat down with me when I was early in the business, and he pretty much just told me it's just all about making deposits in people's lives. So that's kind of just how I've always just ran my business for this past year and a half, which is always giving value, giving value, giving value, all for free, everything for free. Anything that I can do is just being there. And then, ultimately they would just kind of think of me as a real estate broker, or if they have friends and family, they would, think of me. And that's just kind of how it's been. But, social media has just given me a platform to not just build my personal brand to, other, my sphere of influence and, just people around the area, but also kind of just like, my real estate personal brand as well. And it's just always been super cool to me. And, I generated a good amount of agent referrals as well through doing that. And it's the same thing with, just building my like actual practical real estate business too. But, I love using Instagram because it's just an easy way to deepen those relationships, right? Carrie, we live in this business and we're in this business where, we have to market ourselves, right? And, we kind of don't care what anyone thinks of us and stuff like that, because this is our job is just to market who we are. But what I understand is that a general consumer that when they post on Instagram, they really value that like and that comment significantly, and they want to get noticed, right? So a big thing for me is that, whenever I see someone start a business from high school, college, or just somewhere in the area, I'm always the first one to love on them, pour on them, because I know it's difficult, right? One of my good buddies from high school, they own a smoke shop here in Lombard, and they just opened it up last year. I don't do any of that stuff, but I went in there and bought something. I just put it right back because I know how important that really is. And I'm always just showing love to people. I'm always just commenting on stuff like that. I think social media is 100% free and anyone can use it. And it's pretty much just a digital postcard when you use like Instagram stories, but it's free 99. So yeah, I hope that answered the question.
And let me say this. First of all, shout out to Tommy Choi. We all know Tommy. We all know Tommy. And I'm just letting you know, Brandon, just watch for the emails because I already want Main Street. I probably should have told Main Street to watch. Like you really need to be involved in YPN. You need to be involved in the local, state, and national association of realtors. Well, I'm sure Tommy mentioned it. I'm sure he talked to you a little bit about that.
Yep.
Yeah, Tommy listening to Tommy and Jill and taking that advice has probably changed the game for you. But the
Hmm.
give back and connecting, going in to buy something from a smoke shop, knowing you
Hmm.
don't do it, because that would be me. I'm not hanging
Hmm.
out there. I'm not going. But to just go to buy, because even over this past weekend, Makita
Hmm.
had an event called Licensed and Unbothered, and her conference really is to motivate women, licensed real estate agents, to work with each other. The
Hmm.
unbothered is there's enough business for all of us, so we're not
Right.
bothered by the competition. So you're doing exactly
Right.
that. So and here's what I've watched. Your following on Instagram and YouTube is not huge
Right.
yet, but there's
Hmm.
something about the consistency. So before we get into some of the questions, because I have questions, I want people to
Okay.
type your questions, whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, even LinkedIn, because I can see all of it here in the chat. Um, what do you do? How consistent are you? Do you, in I'm just full disclosure, I used to edit television for a living. So this
Hmm.
just comes easy to me.
Right.
Creating content comes easy. I'm an extrovert, although I thought
Uh-huh.
you were, but you said you're more introvert.
Hmm.
So so for me, I can just do it. So
Hmm.
talk about, you again, I said this is an appendage for you. Talk about, are you consistent? do you actually have a plan, or do you know what you're going to try to get done in the, in a week, in a month, or in a specific quarter?
Right. Yeah, so when it comes to creating content for me, I mean, I can talk about the 2 platforms that I think I kill it at. It's Instagram and YouTube, right? For Instagram, I really have no, exact plan. I think my real plan is really just kind of post on my Instagram story every single day. Um, just because, and I really don't post a lot of reels, like anything crazy real estate stuff in my stories a lot of the times. It's more just like personal life. I think like my 3 pillars is I love my nephews. I love going out for food and drinks. I just like, I don't know, just like I just post like random stuff, honestly. But it kind of, it gets people more comfortable with kind of connecting with me and stuff like that because I'm not just like all business, right? Business is kind of just like the bonus to everything and creating relationships because it kind of just happens. But I really have no specific content creation plan when it comes to Instagram. Really, I'm trying to get better at it and kind of road mapping on kind of what I want to do. But I think a big thing for me in kind of my Instagram is like, yeah, just posting on my stories a lot, really posting good video content and stuff like that, and answering
Yeah,
questions
that's it.
that I know that my consumers like, that whether it be buying or selling a home, answering those questions and giving all that value for free. Because a big thing to me is that when I do generate leads from Instagram and stuff like that from people that I've never known, and anyone that's watching this can go on their Instagram analytics and kind of see the 2 main components on Instagram, right? The saves that look like a ribbon, and then the shares on that looks like a paper airplane, right? A lot of times my video content is probably getting 15 to 30 shares, and I don't see all of them. It's people sharing their stories or sharing to another consumer, or a lot of times it's real estate agents sharing it to other real estate agents for inspiration, which is what I do as well with a lot of the stuff that I create, right? But when you just understand that and you keep pushing out content, you'll start getting other people to kind of follow you that you don't even know. Maybe it's a mutual friend, someone that you may know, and just saying like, "Hey, I sent you Carrie's info. I know you're trying to buy a house in 6 months, right?" It's really just me planting those seeds absolutely for free, and it kind of just happens. Like 2 weeks ago, I had someone reach out that I have no clue who they are, and they kind of just reach out and say, "Hey, we found you on Instagram. We've been following your content. The time is now." And all of a sudden, we're working together now to find a home. So it's interesting how it kind of just happens. But in just like anything, whether you're a cold caller, door knocker, you create content, create social media. Um, it's kind of just all about the consistency. So I just try to stay as consistent as I can. Um, and when it comes to YouTube, I kind of have a plan just to try to post weekly. It's been pretty busy lately, but I'm trying to get better at it, trying to get more leverage and assistance in my day-to-day activities, and kind of just trying to like take more time for myself. But YouTube has definitely opened up, and the people that I work with from YouTube are probably the coolest people in the world. For me, it's at the end of the day, I don't care who I do business with. At the end of the day, all the people that I work with are extremely awesome people, and I'm more just like attracting like who I want to personally work with. I'm just down to earth, low maintenance. I'm not flashy at all. I drive a Honda Civic. I wear clothes from H&M all the time. Like it's just never I've just never kind of been that materialistic kind of person. I do like nice stuff. Don't get me wrong, but the people that I work with, they're absolutely incredible. My YouTube strategy is kind of just post weekly and stuff like that, and really plan out content. And when I create content on YouTube for people that are relocating to the area, I don't think like a real estate agent, I think like a consumer, right? So if Carrie, if you were moving out to Arizona, you wouldn't be looking at how to buy a house really, because we're the professionals and that's what we do every single day. So they lean on us to kind of perform those activities and help them get them from the finish line and their ultimate goal. So understanding that and thinking like a consumer is that if I was relocating to another area, I'm thinking of like, okay, what is it like really living in Naperville? What's the cost of living in Naperville? How are the schools? And we can't really talk about schools, but we can point them to the direction on where to find that information, whether it be niche.com, calling the local schools, or even, joining the local Facebook groups, because the moms and the parents over there on those local Facebook groups will tell it how it is. Um, so I hope that kind of answered the question on kind of my content strategy and everything like that, for you and everyone.
You said a lot. I could probably ask a bunch of questions, but here, let me sum it up for everyone, because you didn't say it, but based on what you said is true. So consistency, and it might not be the specific day, but maybe one day you'll get to that, and you follow up.
Hmm.
You actually follow up, because you can't close transactions if you don't follow up. You're
Right.
showing people you're the content. You're showing people who you are. You're being your authentic you.
Hmm.
And then, but I would say my tip for you is Instagram really pushes reels right now.
Hmm.
So even if you created a reel, 60 seconds or less, because then
Hmm.
of course you could push it to your stories. But the cool thing about Instagram right now is they're pushing reels even if people aren't following you. So that
Right.
I found to be huge. I mean, I'm almost at 11,000, although TikTok kind of blew up for me this year.
Nice.
Another conversation. Um, because I have some really cool questions here that I want
Sure.
to ask. Oh,
Hmm.
and the other thing you said was you think like a consumer. When
Hmm.
we move to an area, we really don't, I can give you the 10 steps to home ownership or the 7 steps or the 20 steps. I can show you how to negotiate, I can talk to you about how to negotiate closing costs. Although that video did get me 2 million in volume in
Right.
2016,
Uh-huh.
there's truth in um, you have to show people where they're going to move to, even if
Hmm.
there's things we can't talk about as a real estate agent. But Brandon, my identical twin sister, Dr. Mina Blasey, is in education and she does data and research.
Oh, nice.
My tip for you is you can interview the schools. You could
Hmm.
interview the principals. You could, so because you can't talk about the data, the teachers and the principals and the data centers at the school district could be that source for you.
Right. For sure.
That would change the game.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
So I'll let you know when we're done with the book. The goal is by the end of July. Because I actually interview my twin all the time on Clubhouse because she
Hmm.
knows the background of where you want to be. And we're actually talking it's not, this is not the title. I can't think of what it was, but NAR changed our title, but it's like the crossroads of real estate and education. Like, where do you really want to live?
Hmm.
Because it'll be different for all of us.
Hmm.
So I appreciate everything you said. So here we go. Let's see. Someone is asking, so Brandon, do you get more of your business from your sphere of influence or social media?
Great question. I think they correlate ultimately, right? Everyone that follows me on Instagram and Facebook are pretty much for my SOI. So it's really just social media just makes it so much easier to really develop those relationships, right? I can go on anyone's profile on my Facebook that I have never even talked to for a long, long time and probably find out a lot more about them than like a 2-minute conversation, right? A lot of people, either one, they're shy about posting all their stuff because they really value the like and the comment, or two, is they just post their whole life, right? So it's just as easy as me just sparking up a conversation and really just developing that relationship and taking little mental notes and, always just like really making it about them. Like when I sat down with Tommy last year and on a Zoom call, he kind of just said, just use the Ford model. I mean, family, occupation, relationship, and dreams. And that's even any conversation that I go on now with, old people from high school, college, old coworkers, or anything that can be. I mean, I just kind of, just stick with the script and not really a script, but just really just make it about that. Because at the end of the day, I like reading books and stuff like that. My favorite book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. And the big thing is that people love talking about themselves, and that's not a bad thing at all. But they really like to show that like what they're doing, and they want to be proud of it. And showing the love is very important. And another book that I read, Sell Like Sirhan, the biggest thing that I took away from that book was that people don't love being sold, but they love buying with friends, right? So it's just about making a lot of friends, building a lot of relationships, and really showing that you're that person that can help them, ultimately, reach their goals and, really being a fiduciary for them.
So say those two books. Well, before you say the two books, what was the Ford model again?
Ford model
Family?
is family, occupation, relation, or recreation, and dreams.
Okay. And then what were the two books?
The two books were How to Win Friends and Influence People and Sell It Like Sirhan.
So everybody should write that down. And I don't have my glasses on, so I think I spelled something wrong, but I think you guys can get what I'm saying here. I can't even see. I can't see. I think so. I think you get it. So here's the next question is wait, that's not it. That's not it. Someone wants to know about your equipment.
Sure. So equipment wise, right? I think it's don't overthink it. One, this right here is a very powerful device that sits in our pockets every single day, right? I think you don't have to go anything crazy. I think, your cell phone, whether you have an iPhone or an Android, too, you just get a tripod, get off Amazon for like 10 bucks. And then three is like you can get like a nice attached mic that's pretty cheap, under 20 bucks, honestly. You don't do anything crazy. You gotta just remember is that at the end of the day, like you just gotta start posting, right? It's not gonna be perfect at the beginning. Like my stuff used to be awful in the beginning, but it really just never kind of mattered. And I just always knew it was going to kind of get better and better. And then programs wise, I mean, I'm a Mac user, I'm an Apple user. So I just use iMovie. I keep it very, very simple, but there's a lot of free programs and apps on your phone. And you just got to shoot content. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to realize that, like, you are the brand. I mean, your face is the brand. So I think a lot of my content that you'll notice when I do post stuff, whether it be video or just static posting, is that my face is always in there. And like I'm the brand, and it's just really understand that. So yeah, equipment, your cell phone, tripod, and just get a mic. And then obviously when you really fall in love with this content game, you could always upgrade your equipment, because it's never ending.
Yeah, so this is so a phone, I say you need a a wipe to clean your lens so it looks good. And then a tripod. Everybody kind of knows I've upgraded as the years have gone on. But again, I used to edit television
Hmm.
for actually a television show. It was a church, WGN, but Mac, it does change the game, but you don't have to
Hmm.
work that hard. You just need a phone, eye level, people should be able to hear you and see you.
Hmm.
Can't get any easier than that. And then here's another question. Do you use an outside company to create your videos? Really? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't personally. All my listing videos, if you kind of go on my YouTube channels, I have one channel that kind of talks, like, posts all my listing videos. So I have my videographer and photographer shoot all that for me, and edit all that, because my time is more valuable somewhere else rather than me editing a listing video. And my clients kind of want the best when I'm listing their home. So I know I'm not the best at editing videos, and there's someone better than me, so I have to like leverage that out. And I'm more than happy to, because he crushes it. And then when it comes to like my YouTube videos, like my just like from with me and my phone and stuff like that, it's just kind of all me. It takes time right now, but I think at the end of the day, it's just building that consistent. You don't have to post like every single day like Gary Vee, but like just doing as much as you can. And Instagram stories, Facebook stories, Snapchat stories is kind of the easiest way to just post video content, get in front of the screen, and post, and just it's gonna be gone in 24 hours. So there's no reason to stress on it.
And so you kind of already went into what Leticia was asking, managing your
Hmm.
schedule.
Uh-huh.
I mean, whether you plan it or not, you try to be consistent. But I'm
Uh-huh.
going to ask you about the event because I think that ties into it.
Sure.
But videos on YouTube are there forever, and it's searchable and owned by Google.
Hmm.
To today's generation, when someone says, I want to, go research it. My youngest just
Hmm.
turned 20, and I'm like, Jonathan, because he's got all my other equipment. I'm like, Jonathan, how do you
Hmm.
do this? He's like, Mom, really? Just go Google it. Like even my own kids don't want to help me. So the cool thing about YouTube is it is searchable and it's owned by Google. So
Hmm.
posting videos there, creating your own content, you basically told us how you manage your own schedule. Is there anything
Hmm.
else you want to add to that?
No, that's pretty much it. Just kind of just post when you can, really. I would say like your Instagram and Facebook. I mean, you kind of just post, because people are always just on social media whenever. So.
Yeah, and we're so motivated by sight and sound. And sometimes
Hmm.
if it's not sight, you can add captions. People are watching, they may not be commenting, but if you're providing great content, telling them about the neighborhoods we live in, showcasing who you are, by the
Right.
time they come to your event, because what do you do a little bit differently than most? What event did I walk into with you and Jill?
It was just a past client event. I didn't really promote it hard on social media. I just really kept it to kind of like my past clients. And Jill's handled probably majority of my clients, legal needs and stuff like that. And then my go-to loan officer, Skip Brown, he's probably handled a majority of my buyer transactions as well. And yeah, it was just a past client event. It was a great turnout. It's a great way to just kind of connect with all those people in a more non-business way, just kind of fun, just before the summer starts, when people get hectic with activities, work, vacation, you know, events with the kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, people do like to come out and the other thing you're saying is because you said it before is building the relationships,
Hmm.
family, friends, connecting, providing value,
Hmm.
being the giver. You said Gary Vaynerchuk. Some people probably don't know who he is, but
Right.
yeah, Gary V. I remember the wine days. Oh, when
Uh-huh.
you said your videos weren't great at the beginning, his were really bad.
Right.
So there's truth in if you simply just put in the work and be consistent. So
Hmm.
this person was saying, I was just looking at your Instagram. What company do you use for your real estate photography and videography?
Yeah, Lucrative Dynamics. His name's Will Cruz. Funny story on how we met each other is that we're kind of the same age, so we kind of like gets everything that we do. Like all my videos that we shoot listing wise is kind of they're all my ideas, and him and I just kind of like brainstorm off them and everything like that. But when I did start my business here in Illinois, I was in the clubhouse room as well, and I think I was speaking on something like that. And then all of a sudden, he messaged me on Instagram and said, "Hey, like I'd love to shoot for you. More than happy to do your first one for free." And I started sending him like videos and some of the ideas that I ultimately want to create. And he said I can do it. So long story short, I had a listing in Chicago. He came out, shot for me photos, and video wise, video's done. I tell him like, hey, let's run the game for like the next 20, 25 years and be in this together. But no, he's a great guy, great company, Lucrative Dynamics, Will Cruz. I refer him out to every single person because I think, video is very important in anyone's, business. And, I'm like I said, I'm more than happy to share my vendors just like that. I don't keep them secret. At the end of the day, it's me helping him bring him to the top as well. Anything I can do to support his business, like he's always done for me. And, I think ultimately for me, it also is one of my goals is just kind of, lower the failure rate in the real estate industry, especially for the younger agents coming in, because there's a lot of opportunity with not just like, making a lot of money or whatever the case may be. It's just, but impacting a lot of lives on the way as well.
So before I ask you any final thoughts, I want to give you a tip. This
Sure.
this is what you might be doing it, but have you thought about doing your direct mail piece to increase your following on YouTube?
I've never. That's kind of cool. I like it though. It looks nice.
This is and most people know that this is how I my idea of recruiting is a little different. I'm not big
Mhm.
box, I'm a boutique, but my idea is if you're not going to come to me, at least you're going to learn from me. So what is for me, because I speak all over the United States. I've done one international event, but eventually even you will make a shift.
Mhm.
You might run a team one day at Keller Williams. You might open a brokerage one day, or you might collaborate with all of the people that are vendors to come up with a conference to do,
Right.
to do something big. So this could be another way, even in your area,
Yeah.
to just become the expert.
That'd be sweet.
So there you go. And then I really want you to do reels and TikTok. So any final thoughts? I want to tell everyone, I really want all of you to go find Brandon everywhere. He works with Keller Williams in Glen Ellyn. Shout out to KW and Glen Ellyn. A few of them know me, so you can let them know. Carrie, Smart Girl Media. I'm here as Carrie, the instructor today.
Cool.
So follow Brandon everywhere. So any final thoughts before we end?
No, I just thanks for kind of having me on. I love kind of just like talking on everything that I've been creating, and at the end, I just kind of have fun with it. The reason, I mean, I probably don't need to shoot listing videos right now, but it's just always fun, and the sellers love it. And I just all I want to do ultimately is just kind of be different, and just do it my way. I don't want to. I don't need to sell like $1 billion in real estate. I don't even need to sell $100 million a year. But I all I want to do is just work with people that love me, trust me, and just want to have fun as well. And that's kind of ultimately how it goes right now. And I'm grateful for everything I have in my life and everything that I'm building. I'm grateful for all the people that support my business, that mentor me, that always give me their time of day. And then, yeah, no, I look forward to just keep building it and just keep having fun.
Okay, Brandon. Well, thank you. Thanks for joining me. For those of you that are listening to the replay, please make sure you connect with Brandon everywhere. Shoot him a DM and tell him thank you. So don't go away, Brandon.